How do you think your boss would respond to you sleeping on the job? Well, this next story is about a DC man who says people he relies on to keep him safe throughout the night often fall asleep and putting him at risk. They're nurses and aides provided by the district with your tax dollars. As Tracy Wilkins of the News 4i team found out, advocates are raising alarms about this growing risk they say is impacting some of the most vulnerable in our city.
Damon Brooks knows the value of a good team.
I don't like no typos, no misinformation.
As a writer for the Monumental Sports Network, he makes his living covering athletes.
I write about local colleges, high schools, and local professional teams.
And that team mentality is even more important for Damon off the job, at home.
So, Damon, it's very clear to me that you are a go-getter, that you're going to meet your goals, but you still need help.
Absolutely.
13 years ago, a tragic wrestling accident with a friend left him a paraplegic. He depends on nurses and aides throughout the day. Managed through a city program funded by Medicaid, it allows him to remain in his own home.
Your morning nurse is fantastic.
She's outstanding. We'd have no problems at all. She's like a mother to me. I love her to death.
Helping him with everyday tasks, checking his vitals, getting him ready for work, then for bed. A different team is supposed to monitor him overnight. That's when he says things get harder.
Every night since, we unfortunately had this accident, I've had employees sleeping, snoring on the job, neglecting me. Sometimes I've been left sitting in wet chucks. Sometimes I've been, just neglected to use the bathroom, and it's been very difficult for me.
It's become such an issue, he's installed cameras around his apartment in plain sight. He says he's collected hours of employees appearing to sleep through the night.
They're supposed to be repositioning me, catheterizing me on time. They're not supposed to be sleeping and snoring, and they're supposed to be attentive to my needs.
And this is something that you see in the nursing homes as well. Like, what he's going through in his own home is beyond me, you know what I mean? And he looks like he's an easygoing patient or resident customer as well, but there are some people that have the mindset that, oh, when I get to such and such house, I'm going to sleep. Okay. And I've seen plenty of CNAs come to work 11 o'clock, do what they need to do, and then by 12:30 they're knocked out. I have to shake them like, is this person actually like alive at this moment? Because it's like, how did you come to work to just sleep? One time, the supervisor, she does rounds on the regular, because some patients, they have like that Wonder Guard on, and they have to come in, make sure that the Wonder Guard is checked and stuff like that. And she was just complaining to me about how the CNAs are already sleeping, and it was probably like 12:30. AM, midnight, whatever. And they were already sleeping. And I was just like, this is what y'all allow. If y'all were to put a little bit more fire underneath some people's asses when they come to work, then, you will have a more coherent teamwork going on. They should not be sleeping. But then again, there's nothing for them to do at that moment, right? And because they're sleeping way past the time that they're supposed to be, like he said, repositioning, changing, getting them, cleaned up and stuff like that. This is why there's sores. This is why the skin is breaking down. This is why family members are suing. This is why stuff like this is happening. And you wondering why they don't want to pay you what you are worth, because you are not. You are not. Your product does not look like it's worth anything if the skin is being broken down, if there's redness, if they're funky, if their hair is oily. You are not doing what you were taught in school. You are doing the bare minimum. And there's so many times where I do help CNAs, and I'm just like, that's not how you clean yourself, and that's not how you were taught to clean. You feel me? You still got feces residue on the resident. No soap, barely any water to wash off the soap. Like, I don't get it, and even though this video is about them sleeping, this is about the neglect. This is big neglect. You come to do a job. This is what you're getting paid for. And you're screaming, oh, they only give me pizza, and they only do this, and they only do, because of what you only do. Okay? Your product is looking very bad. And it's be a shame if this patient has wounds on his skin. He has skin breakdown, because when you're a quadriplegic or whatever he is, you can't really feel these things, right? Because the skin is broken down, the legs don't work, the nerve. Sad business. It's sad.
That hasn't been the case.
He says he's complained for years.
I've sent pictures.
For years.
I've sent emails to the nursing agency, the deputy mayor, council members. I've done multiple things to try to get assistance.
But says the problem has only gotten worse.
If there was an emergency in this apartment overnight, do you think you'd be taken care of?
Truthfully, I don't know.
He says in the last few weeks, he's had nurses and aides simply not show up for the overnight shift, leaving his mom to help him.
I won't lie, I've cried several nights. I've cried multiple mornings. It's a very depressing situation.
Advocates have raised concerns, too, about sleeping on the job earlier this year at a D.C. Council roundtable.
And this is something that nurses don't realize. You are a patient's advocate. You're supposed to speak up. There was one time I had a resident, and he spoke up, but the CNA, she was really abrasive with him, and he's like, some patients, their Parkinson's really act up. I don't know where to look, but their Parkinson's really act up when they're a little frightened. Sometimes with this particular patient, when I give him his needle, sometimes he may flinch, and I rub him and I say I'm sorry and stuff like that, and it will start to act up. But this resident, he was just like, hold on, wait, stop, and she's just like, what do you want? And I had to park her, like, yo, calm down, relax. He's telling you to relax. He's telling you how he feels. He's telling you all of this stuff, and I don't understand why you're overlooking it. They teach you in nursing school. They teach you in CNA school that this is their home. So why are you treating them like they're foreigner in their own home? Like, that doesn't make sense to me. She wanted to argue with me back and forth, and I was just like, listen, I'm standing right here. I'm seeing exactly what's going on, and I need you to calm down with him. Relax. He looked at me and said, thank you. I said, you're welcome. Because this is what we're supposed to do. Some of these CNAs come in there, like a lot of CNAs come to work with their issues, and that's not how it's supposed to go down. Not at all. Let's go.
On long-term care.
It is a very serious problem of aides showing up with no intention to work. Many of my clients report and have photos of aides arriving for the overnight shift, midnight to 8 a.m., with blankets, pillows, hair rollers, clearly intending to sleep.
Attorney Holly Eaton says because of a shortage of aides or PCAs, home health agencies allow their employees to avoid what they consider more difficult cases because they worry they'll quit.
If the beneficiary is able to articulate his needs, ask for assistance, and oversee what the PCAs are doing, the aides do not want to return to that job because they object to being told what to do and don't like being watched.
If you sign up for them in the night.
Delegation. You are in somebody's house. I don't care if you've been doing this job for 75 years or whatever the case may be. You're in somebody's house and you're making them uncomfortable. You're not helping them. You're ungrateful that you have a job. You're coming to work just to sleep. That doesn't make sense. You should be on your P's and Q's when you're helping somebody. You understand? Just because he's an easy resident, that doesn't mean you can just go to his house and just go to sleep. Like, that doesn't make sense. He's not an easy resident. I don't mean he's easy as in, like, you don't got to do nothing for him. But he's easy in the sense that you can, he can tell you where he's itching, or he could tell you how he likes something, or you know what I mean? Like, how he could tell you. But then again, these aides, they come in there and they take advantage of the fact that you may not have to do too much. But that doesn't mean you have a full night's rest, because that's not what you came to work to do.
If you go to sleep during the day, we all make sacrifices day in and day out. Just because it's a night shift doesn't mean you have the ability or the right to sleep.
A spokesperson for the Department of Healthcare Finance, which oversees the program for the city, told the I-Team, DHCF expects that all nurses or personal care aides are consistently available to deliver services as needed, safely and appropriately as needed, and in accordance with a Medicaid.
And then when you tell them about their position or what they're supposed to be doing, they get upset with you. Like, but you're getting paid to do this job. Make it make sense.
Beneficiaries plan of care.
They have the ultimate oversight and sanctioning and enforcement authority.
Mark Miller with the Office of the DC Long-Term Care Ombudsman says the Department of Healthcare Finance can and should do more. He says every time one of these overnight aides closes their eyes, they are essentially stealing from taxpayers.
You're taking taxpayer dollars and not providing the service that you've contracted to provide. And there's really no other way to capture that. I mean, we would look at that as fraud. We also would look at that as potential
Fraud.
neglect or abuse.
How big is this problem?
It's hard to know because I think some of it is unreported. Some people, like I said, do not want to kind of rock the boat because they're afraid then they won't get any aids in the evening or on weekends.
Damon doesn't have that fear and has complained to his case manager, the city, and nursing agencies.
How many night nurses do you think you've been through?
Over 40 with this particular agency.
He worries his reputation for accountability is scaring the help he needs away. But he says his fight is about more than himself.
I'm just really worried about, others, because if the others are subjected to this, that means we may have casualties, and that's something I really want to prevent from occurring.
We did ask DHCF about any steps it's taken to address the sleeping complaints and also reached out to the various agencies that have provided aids to Damon. We did not hear back. We did find a sleeping complaint filed back in 2023 with one agency Damon has used. In that report, the agency said it retrained the employees on its sleeping policy and gave them a verbal warning.
Tracy, the agency says it's hard to retain aides and nurses because of the work that's required, and they don't want to be told what to do. But then you have Damon saying, I'm not getting the care I need. So what can you do? What can be done?
Yeah, that's complicated. Advocates we talked to say that
This is probably why they opened up the family aspect of home health. They like having your family member take care of you because your family's going to take care of you. You feel me? Like when I see the Indian people, their families, like they will really take care of them. The Asians, Chinese people, they'll really take care of their people and stuff like that. If it's family, they'll really take care of you. But then when you have somebody else coming in to take care of you, like it's a totally different thing because their mindset is just, I am here for a check. I am here to get money. I'm here to pay this bill that I'm just filling in for somebody. I don't need to care about you. I don't need to do any of that thing. This is why a lot of people don't need to be working healthcare. When all these immigrants, and I'm not saying anything about immigrants, they come in here and like, oh, this is easy money. This is why I don't tell people to go into nursing, because though it's easy money, your heart really has to be in it. A whole bunch of immigrants is coming in and they just talking on the phone. I used to be a home health aide, and and they tell me about the family. They'll tell me about the aide that's there at the moment, or the aide that they used to work with, or the aide that you're replacing. She used to just be on the phone. I had to yell and scream for her to help me. She would be sleeping. She would go out. I'll say she can go out for an hour. She don't come back for 3 hours. Like, you're just really abusing the system. You should not be in this type of field if you do not have a heart for it, or if you're just in it for the money. Go to McDonald's where you can't go to sleep, or get some more skills where you can sleep at night so that you don't have to be doing this job at night. You can make all the money you need to do during the day, because obviously you're not a night owl. Don't do this job.
to be more follow-up after someone makes a complaint, but also there needs to be more discussion to address the shortage crisis, incentives for nurses and aides to work overnight and weekend shifts, like getting overtime. These are tough shifts, and we know some of these aides are likely working multiple jobs to make ends meet. And that's something that the advocates say. You have to provide a living wage, you know, and that's what we're imagining. There are a lot of people who have multiple jobs, but this is one of them that they need to stay awake for.
Right.
Yeah.
It's also it's important. I mean, you know, Damon has a lot of courage here in coming forward and saying something when you should feel safe in your own home, and the fact that, you know, there may be some hesitation in him sounding the alarm about something because it's about the care in his own home and whether or not he'll get that. You know, your heart goes out to anybody that may be in those very similar circumstances. It's not easy for them, and my goodness,
So thank you for watching. I think I'm going to keep looking for videos like this. This is my first time doing a video like this. I think now I'm going to go in I don't know a lot about nursing, but I know just from my experiences and, you know, how I would feel and how I envision certain things. I know how these patients may feel being neglected. You know, I am a big advocate for fighting against neglect, especially in the nursing home. You know, it trickles down. You know, if the administrator doesn't care, staff members doesn't care, residents get the most brunt and abuse and stuff like that. So therefore I want to start finding videos like this where I start shedding light on neglect, because this is a $1 billion industry, and for us to be treating people the way that we're treating and demanding more money, it doesn't make sense. It really doesn't make sense to me. You know, if patients' skins are breaking down, that means you're not doing the proper protocol that you went to school to, you know, get your license from. You know what I'm saying? So this is a problem, and I feel like a lot of care workers need to pay attention to what they're doing, so that there can be an increase in your pay. If residents start looking better, smelling better, feeling better, moving better, and all this type of stuff, then there's a possibility that you can get an increase in your pay. And I'm not trying to be like a pick-me worker or anything like that, but I just feel like if you are doing what is actually necessary so that we can stop having these type of lawsuits, right? Because this is what's really eating out the money, is the lawsuits, because this is what you know what, just pay them the money and keep it pushing, right? So that's $400K, $500K, $1 million, $2 million that they're pushing out for these lawsuits. You think they're going to pay you extra money? They're not going to pay you extra money, because you're the one that's at fault. They're just covering up so that they can keep their establishment. So I want that to be something that's in mind, because I'm going to keep doing my research. Also, I want to see if I could get a lot more information that I can start coming up here with on how this process actually works, because, you know, nursing it's a beautiful career, but if your heart is not in it, and I'm going to be saying this a lot, if your heart is not in it, don't do it. Period. Don't do it. So bye for now. Talk to you later. Thank you for watching, and we'll be back. Bye.